Hi, this is Dave. I'm back and I'm talking about camping stoves again. So I went ahead and ran some tests with the camping stoves. I did get some video of it and I'll be intermixing it in here. However, I probably won't be intermixing the entire videos because I'm pretty sure you guys don't want to watch me boil water 4 times. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of go over what I saw and how it worked. I did get multiple shots or multiple angles of the tests. All but the last one worked fine. My camera failed on the last one. I think it overheated and it just didn't capture all of the video. It kind of blinked in and out. So I'm just going to intermix a little bit in there. So first one I tested was the Terra Hiker. And I noticed that the pattern of it did spread quite a bit. I liked the adjustment. It was quite solid. The pattern around it was clean. It did seem to light up the the igniter very quickly, and it became very red and very hot very quickly. I was concerned it was going to melt. That's how quickly that heated up. But I turned it up as much as I could. By the way, I used the same pot, which is this one from the test from the Lions camp set. And this functioned perfectly fine. This was great. So getting back to the stoves, this one was probably the sturdiest feeling out of all of them. When I set the pot of water on it, it felt like it wasn't going to fall over. It did seem like it held everything in place, and it feels the sturdiest out of all of them. That being said, I don't think the burner itself performed the best out of all of them. I think this one performed reasonably well, but it performed pretty good. In the end, this one boiled the water in 2 minutes and 42 seconds. I've got my times off on the side here. Let's see. So that was the Terra, the Alox, which is Phoenix gas. That one actually appeared to have the best flame. I guess the best flame concentration. I like the pattern that came off of it. I was able to turn it up higher with the pot set on there. It didn't come up around the outside of the pot, threatening to throw flame everywhere. This pot or this burner actually seemed to work pretty well. It was a little less sturdy than the Terra. It did sit pretty okay. The legs they feel a little more flimsy than the Terra does. However, it held the pot quite well. There was enough surface to hold it in place. And it boiled the water the fastest at 2 minutes and 32 seconds. It worked very well. I like this one. I like the adjustability and knowing where your adjustment is on the regulator. It's quite nice. I like this one. The downside to this one is that it doesn't have an igniter, which ended up burning hair. Well, actually, it ended up burning a little hair on my arm, probably because I got a little close to it. But other than that, I like this one probably the most. Then we have the Lion camp set stove. And this one actually had a pretty decent flame to it as well. You see the pattern of the head. The ones that mount to the gas cans, they tend to have a smaller flame. And both of them did not perform as well as the stand-up ones, the self-standing ones. However, I have to admit, with this base on the bottom of the can, this one was very sturdy. It was shocking how steady it was. Getting this on the bottom of the can was a little difficult, but it makes sense because you don't want it to just slide off and the can fall off. This one worked pretty well. However, this one, the igniter heated up way faster than the Terra, and it was also very concerning. In fact, it's got a little bit of a bend to it here now, so I'm a little concerned that this one actually might melt off after a certain point. Both this one and the Terra, the arms that hold the pot got extremely red, and I didn't notice that with the Alok. And they started glowing cherry red. Obviously, it's from the heat from the stove, but I mean, that being in the flame area, it was very concerning that it heated up to cherry red. The base of this remained cool, and the igniter worked no problem. It still works. And it cranked up perfectly fine. The regulator was very solid, and it still is, and it was easy to use. I was able to turn it up till the flame was on the bottom of the pot enough to where it would stay on the bottom of the pot and not creep around the sides, and it worked very well. This took 3 minutes and 25 seconds to heat up the water, and it wasn't that bad. And for each one of these tests, I measured out exactly 2 cups using a measuring cup of water to make sure that they all had the same. Between the tests, I ran cold water over and in the pot to make sure it was the same temperature each time, including the first test. So they all started off at the same level. Getting to the last stove that I tested, which is the Desert Fox. This one scares me a lot. Even though it seems very good construction, as far as the regulator is very solid, everything seems pretty solid. Surprisingly, this did very well as far as supporting the pot, it being as small as it is. The thing that concerns me with the most on this is it got incredibly hot throughout the entire test. The arms changed colors very quickly to cherry in multiple points. I was very concerned that it was going to fail. It didn't, I'll give it that, but I was very concerned that it would. The biggest concern for me is it got hot all the way down to the can. In every single one of these tests, the can of gas stayed cool except for this one. The top of the can where it's screwed on actually got hot on this one, which is a major concern. You have a highly flammable gas in a metal container getting hot. I think if this would have gone much longer, it probably would have damaged the can or could have been catastrophic. I'm not a big fan of this one. If I were to use this, it would be for very limited or emergencies. I do not recommend this at all. While it did hold it pretty steady, and it is a very, very small stove, as you can see. I'm folding it up now. It is a very small stove, and it fits in very small pouch and can go literally in your pocket. I would be very concerned using this. That being said, it was the cheapest. However, the Lion Camp stove actually came with its own pots and pan, so judgment. So that one actually took the longest to boil the water. It was 3 minutes and 52 seconds to do it. For this test, just so you know, I used the same can of gas. It is a standard can of gas that you would get from Walmart. This cost about $5. I did have a second can of this, but I originally had bought a can from Amazon, and it cost me $10. I can't see any difference except for size on this. This one cost me $10, and as you can see, is much, much smaller than the one from Walmart. So I do not suggest buying your gas from Amazon. I'm not even going to link this in the description of this because this I think is silly. I think if you're going to get it locally. This actually worked out to be way cheaper. It's Coleman's. Everybody knows Coleman's. And they even had a larger can for $10 that was twice the size. So, I mean, I could see maybe this being a good combination if you had a very small space to travel, but not for the price of this. This is ridiculously high expensive. That being said, I find it quite an interesting aspect, these camping stoves. And it kind of raises to my thought, what can I do with these camping stoves? So my idea now is I'm going to pick a day, and I'm planning on only cooking my meals and when I make my coffee, only cooking on one of these camping stoves throughout the day. And I'm thinking I might use the Alok, the Phoenix Gas brand one. And, you know, I've got a couple of these I can use. I'm thinking I might do that and then just use like this pot, and I have a pan that I purchased, a cheap pan that I purchased for this. And I'm thinking for 24 hours, I'm going to only cook using a camping stove. I'll do it in my kitchen, and I'm not going to just cook camping food. I have a very specific diet where low sugar, low carb. So what I plan on doing is I'm going to cook what I would normally eat on the camping stove, and only the camping stove. So no microwave, no toaster oven, no air fryer, no oven, just on the camping stove. And let's see how that goes. I will be recording it. I don't know when I'm going to do this. I'm probably going to pick one day and not announce it, but when I do it, I will record it and give you the results. Anyway, that's the whole camping stove. My personal opinion, if you've got room for a stove, I like this one. I think the gas, the Alok, I think the gas is used much more efficiently. It is a little bit less steady than the Terra, and you do need a lighter or something to light it with. However, it seems more efficient. In my opinion, the next one would be the Terra. And coming up third, I think, would be the Lion. And overall, I do not suggest the Desert Fox. Like I said, that one concerns me a bit. But have you guys tried any of these? What is your opinion on this? I really would like to hear what you have to say about the camping stoves. If you've used any of these, if you suggest any that maybe are better, let me know. This is Dave, and check out my wife and my channel. It's Jen and Dave. Also, we stream on Twitch every Friday night at 5 p.m. Central. And we do like retro gaming and stuff. And just come hang out. Anyway, this is Dave. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you again.